All right. Hello, everyone. Dr. Shane here, chiropractor, Reno, Nevada, joined with Jenny Field, and we're going to continue our conversation that we started last time about oxidative stress, biohacking, the ways we can help influence health from the inside out. And we started surface layer last time. We started to go a little deep, but today we wanted to go a little deeper into the physiology and really understand what it is that stress is doing in our body. To what degree does this have an impact on our genes and our expression? And what can we do about it? We talked a little about nutrigenomics last time, and now the way we eat, the supplements we take that can have an impact on our physiology. Now we want to even discover and explore which herbs particularly can we be introducing to the body to help express this health from the inside out. So we're going to start off with just digging in first on what is stress overload and what is oxidative stress doing to our body in the sense of its impact. So Jenny, why don't you go ahead and take it away from there? And that concept of like overload of oxidative stress and what it's doing to our body.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Shane. I have been, just excited to be able to share all this information with you and with our listeners. So we talked a lot last week. We probably gave a lot of information, and we just want to dive a little bit deeper into what this term oxidative stress really means inside of our body. So we talked a little bit last week about how when we have an overload of oxidative stress, our body is really only functioning on about 20% of our DNA, our cellular function. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to function on only 20%. I want to be able to function on 100% of my body, of my cellular function and my DNA. So this wheel right here really shows how when we have an overload of oxidative stress, what it is affecting inside of our body, and some of those elements that can present themselves and take over that cellular function. So you start to see some of these common things, rheumatoid arthritis, as far as like our joint health, all the way to our heart health. We've got cardiovascular symptoms. It can even go into, our organs in, form into autoimmune diseases. And when that happens, our bodies are really kind of dying from the inside out. We're being overloaded by these diseases, by elements, and it manifests in our body in these particular things. Oxidative stress is linked to over 200 diseases. And so if we can go in and if we can combat that overload of oxidative stress in our body, we can start combating these diseases and these elements. And it's not a cure-all, but what is happening is our body is able to then heal itself. So our cells are able to go in and start to regenerate and repair themselves. And so these things aren't then able to manifest inside of our bodies. So we can talk a little bit about like the activation part of it. And then we're going to get into a little bit of science with you guys. And Dr. Shane is going to talk about how the cell really works in our body, and how that NRF2 protein activates inside of our cell.
Yeah,
But
this slide right here is powerful. It's like root cause of disease saying stress, and stress is impacting everything in our body. And this is like describing all these different ailments. You said over 200 things can be traced back to oxidative stress. This should be front of mind for a lot of people. And who has a stressful life,
we
right?
all live stressful lives.
Our modern society is naturally stressful.
Right?
Things
Yeah.
we control and things we can't. And when we understand the impact it's having on our body, like how can we minimize its effect? And that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing more like what it's actually doing to the cell. I think information is so empowering, and sharing this with our community is what is stress actually doing to your body. There's only so much you can do to reduce it. Well, let's start to combat it and protect our bodies and help it be as healthy as possible. And 20%, I don't want to live at 20% either. Uh,
No.
full expression is my goal, and 20% doesn't seem acceptable to me.
Absolutely not. So this is the cell in inside of our body, and I was going to let Dr. Shane talk a little bit about it because he is the doctor and he is the expert at that. But you can see there's so many different components to our cell, and that NRF2 activation, that NRF2 protein that's in there, is a huge component inside of the cell. So Dr. Shane, if you would share a little bit about what this slide is representing and how that cell is working.
Huge appreciation. They're so intelligent. They're designed to express health from the inside out, and that health, we are made up of trillions of cells, and they're constantly replicating, reproducing, and playing processes within the bodies, these different mechanisms to express health from the inside out. And when we say an activator, we're looking at the outside of the circle. We have proteins that surround our cells, and they detect our environments. So whether we're exposed to an antigen, or we're exposed to a mineral or a vitamin or another protein, our body has these signals, receptors on the outside of the cell, in order to pick up that information and relay it into the nucleus. So that'd be that smaller circle, the pink area. It's inside the nucleus is where we have our DNA, our RNA. We have the factory that produces the proteins, the molecules that our body needs to express health. And it becomes this process of experiencing or perceiving the environment, sending a signal in, and then from the inside out, giving our body the tools it needs to, one, protect itself or to express health. Now, we have this idea of our body only expressing health at 20%. Again, we agreed, or at least Jenny and I did, we don't want to live at 20%. And if our body's constantly under stress, it's not able to have the full expression of the genes, our genetic code, to facilitate health all the way. So then some of the other things are added in here. As far as the picture goes, we have the NRF2 activator. And what that is going to be doing is stimulating the enzymes to send into the nucleus to help transcript or build these antioxidants. So calling back from our previous conversation that our environment is full of oxidative stress, or from these free radicals that cause the oxidative stress. And we want the antioxidant to fight off those free radicals. Now, do we remember how many oranges you need to fight off the stress from the body? It was over 300, like a huge number, right? Maybe it was more than that. It was a lot of nutrition,
Yeah.
and almost not possible. But when we get the body and the cell's physiology working behind this, then we get the powerhouses of antioxidants. We have superoxide dismutase, we have the glutathiones, we have these things that are working on behalf to fight off the the pro-inflammatory agents, these oxidative stress causing free radicals. And that's where you get the antioxidant enzymes. So right there in the middle of the green, that would be that production of the powerhouse of antioxidants. Way more than what our body can do alone with just diet. This would be that 1,000,000 to 1 ratio. So turning on a gene code by activating that NRF2 turns into like this biohacking secret that's already built into our body. And I think that's where myself as a chiropractor, I have this huge appreciation for the body, that it's intelligent, it's designed to express health. And when we look at the cellular level, we have these amazing mechanisms all the way down to our DNA, RNA, of how our body is able to produce proteins, enzymes, and even intelligent enough to know it needs defenses against stress. So for thousands of years before we were in this modern society of stress compounding, our body knew it needed to protect itself. It had this ability to produce these antioxidants. And I think it's just amazing seeing these pictures where they're simplified, because the processes are like way more complex, even beyond what I would be able to keep up with, I think, when you really get to cell physiology and some of the chemistry behind it. But knowing that we can activate and help the body help itself to produce more of these antioxidants, that's what this is drawing out for me. Outside, perceiving the environment, telling DNA, waking up, genes on, genes off, so we can produce these powerful antioxidants to counteract stress. And I think taking physiology, big idea, zooming in and back to that surface layer, we need more defense against these stressors because our life is stressful and stress is impacting our health. And here's an outline of how we can start to combat it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for just sharing your insight on how the activation system works inside of our cell, because it is so powerful, and it can be so complex as well. This is just a little graph that talks about what is happening when we're talking about this NRF2 activation. So we talked about nutrigenomics last week and how nutrition, those nutritional compounds affect our genes. And there are, certain herbs, certain compounds that do that. And when we have something like NRF2 activation, it is putting specific herbs together in a specific formula to create that activation system. It is creating synergy within inside of our body, which I think is incredible. And that's how it's able to turn on that NRF2 activation. So this just shows a little bit of how, there are individual herbs, and they activate the body a little bit. But when you see all of the herbs put together, that 18 times fold increase of that antioxidant gene expression is incredible. And one thing I love is there's a product that is patented, that they patent the herbs, which is really cool, to be able to get that synergy of those specific herbs together that creates that increase in our body by 18 times more effective than the individual herbs specifically.
And that would be that synergy, right? And that would be an activation. So NRF2, just all the physiology. So if you're going to find the activator, it is that compound. So having one research backed and the company willing to put the energy, time, and effort to protect it, and then knowing and then we can back it up. Look see what it's doing in the body. I think that's super cool. Each of those ingredients, the ashwagandha, bacopa, green tea, milk thistle, turmeric, these are things you see on ingredient lists. Like, okay, looks like good, healthy stuff. And they do have an impact and help an antioxidant, but 18 times more effective when they're put together. I think synergy is so powerful. And realizing that when the ingredients come together in the proper ratio, and part of that influencing the intelligence in the body using what we already have in nature, I think just adds to that level of just appreciation that we have these God-given gifts around us, and building upon them. I think even adding herbs to our biology creates that synergy, and it's really awesome.
Absolutely. And each one of these herbs has specific things that it's doing inside of the body, the specific things that it's targeting, like turmeric is great for our body as far as reducing that inflammation in our body. And we all, as Americans, we all suffer from way too much inflammation in our bodies. So to be able to target our cells to respond to these specific herbs, to do the God-given, things that they were designed to do, I think is really cool. And then how it's all put together so that each one of them work off of each other. They really do. They work together. They work synergistically with each other. And I think it's just incredible how we have things in our earth that can provide our body health from the inside out. We're really, we're really wanting to live healthier lives from the inside out and create that health from the inside out.
when I look at it, it almost seems too simple. And then
Right?
putting them together and like, wait, these herbs and foundation of this pathway in my body, and I'm like, okay, kind of makes sense, but it's when I learn more about it, the next thing is just like mind blowing is the research behind it. One, research behind oxidative stress, and then the research that synergy, this compound, these herbs and elements put together, and how they're actually activating the pathways and what it's doing to the body and its physiology. And I think that's where the nerd inside of me just like gets super intrigued, because science is cool. Our bodies are amazing, and when there's some research to back it up, it's just like, yeah, tell me more.
Absolutely. And I love, I agree with you. I love the science. I love learning about it. And I love that scientists are also getting on board with this. So this term, NRF2 activation, really has really started over the last 20 years, becoming more and more prevalent in the science community. And we talked last week about that PubMed.gov website. That's the National Health Institute website where universities go in there and they study products, they study different things, and they write these peer-reviewed studies on the breakthroughs that happen. And so this NRF2 activation is just becoming more and more well known. And the graph over on the right shares a little bit about how over the last 25 years, more and more research has gone into how we can activate our body, naturally, how we can use these natural compounds to live healthier lives. And so the research that has gone into NRF2 activation has just increased over the last 20 years. And I pulled one of the peer-reviewed studies, which I love to share with people. It was done by Washington State University, and it talks about NRF2 being a master regulator of detoxification in our body. And they put out a powerful statement saying NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary and therapeutic preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Like, that is a powerful statement.
That is huge, and just and leveraging and looking at the title of the article too, and all those different components that it's doing.
Yes.
The anti-inflammatory things that I think for many years, thousands of years, we took for granted that our body was doing it, and now we know a way to like supercharge it, really increase its ability to stressors, and watching research keep up with it. And when it's so simple, relatively simple from these herbs, but it's the synergy behind them, really powerful.
Absolutely. I'm going to stop screen sharing this and we can wrap today's call up a little bit. Dr. Shane and I had talked about a little bit of a call of action with our viewers. So if you're having maybe some of those elements pop up in your life, if you're feeling like your body is overloaded with oxidative stress, or if you just want more information about how NRF2 activation works, you're kind of curious, you're like, this is more than what my brain can handle. We want to help you. So I'm available if you want to reach out specifically, to me. Dr. Shane is available. Messenger, email, text message, however it works. We're just happy to share more information with you and how you can start activating your own NRF2 protein inside of your body.
Yep, that's perfect. And yeah, our goal here is to facilitate health in our community. We want to be a beacon of information, a beacon of hope, a beacon in a world where there's so much turmoil and stress and disease, we want to like highlight there is a way to protect your body. There's a way to create health from the inside out. Just like Jenny was saying, if you feel like you're struggling with something, don't hesitate to reach out. Um, I know as a chiropractor, I can't help and solve everything, but I want to help find the solution for you. If I don't know the answer, we're going to find the answer. We're going to find the right team to get your body on track, to express health the way it's designed to. No one wants to live at 20%. Let's get these lives, let's get your health expressed at full 100% from you. Looking forward to being that resource and making our community healthier, helping families be healthier and individuals and expressing life to its fullest expression. So, Jenny, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for the time. And I'm looking forward to future topics. If anyone has something in mind too and question, they're like, is how is stress impacting this part of my life? Or how can this function or health? I read this article. What does that even mean? Reach out to us. Like I said, if I don't know the answer right away, we'll find the answer. We'll find the team. There's other practitioners here in the community, and we want to facilitate that conversation to promote health, build up our bodies, and be at that fullest expression.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Shane.